and we'll get right into it. So, mission statement here is to create the greatest group of professional traders compiled in the world. We work tirelessly every single day to improve our individual selves and push each other to get the most out of one another. With each individual's personal accountability, 100% effort, and consistent actions towards focusing on our controllables, we will each reach our full potential individually and as a family. I, Stefanos, pledge to be the best version of myself today, to do whatever it takes to be the greatest trader I can be, and to be the most self-disciplined person that I know. I will do the things I have today, regardless of how I feel, one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, and 1 minute at a time. I will control what I can control and not worry about anything else. Reminders: we do not over trade. We do not over risk. You don't need to catch a trade today. 1 to 2 trade ideas per day. I would stick with that, but if you see that perfect setup, you can take it. Capital preservation over capital appreciation, aka risk management, is number one. Keep your trading plan in front of you at all times so you remember every single thing on that checklist when it comes to entry and exit. Make smart decisions. That's what you're focusing on, not, what's my next trade, but it's what's my next smart decision that I can make, whether it's in the trade or out of the trade. And then we're system oriented. That's in life and in trading. When it comes to that, it's not how much money can I make, it's how can I stick to my plan. And then, in your real life, day by day, you're focusing on the things that are on that accountability checklist. You're thinking about your daily must and how you can get those things done in an orderly fashion every single day. So that's what I mean by system oriented. But again, looking at today, obviously we got GDP coming out for the U.S., core durable goods, unemployment claims as always on Thursdays. So that should be interesting. That could move the market. It looks like the market really has been waiting for these two things to come out. And honestly, these two things are this and PCE are the main focus for the week, right? That's typically how it's been going. So hopefully we get some volume from this. I'm sure we will. They're expecting much less GDP over here, quarter to quarter. Core durable goods, they're expecting negative over here as well. For core durable goods, regular durable goods, they're expecting an increase over here. But unemployment claims, they're expecting an uptick here. So we'll see. We'll see what we end up getting. If we get mixed data, you'll probably get a nice move and then ranging. If we get a big surprise, you'll get a move in any direction. Right. So looking at GJ right now, again, we're holding support. Not much has changed on the monthly over here, right? But we are sitting above 160. So 160 has kind of been that theme of the month where we've just been bouncing up and down between that level. Looking at the weekly here, we are, again, same exact thing with the monthly. The weekly has been playing around as well. This thing's been bearish. It's been bullish already. It's been bullish when it first opened. Then it became bearish. Now it flipped bullish again, holding that support over here. So maybe it's, preparing for any kind of positive GDP coming out today. That could shoot this thing up and the Japanese yen down. So that could happen as well. But let's see what we got going on here on these lower time frames. So we're holding that higher low, that support. And I was in that, if you guys remember, I was in that buy in the beginning of the week over here, or actually the end of last week, and I held it over the weekend, right? This thing, when it came down, we ended up taking that counter trend sell, which really is not counter trend because we have been in that downtrend, but we took that sell. That's why I exited that trade over here. But right now, I probably still would be in based on after that impulse volume push, created the high. We come right back down. We get that bullish candle close here, forming a higher low out of this price action right here, right? We're holding a resistance right here. So the only question is this going to be a strong enough support to bounce us through 161, 700 with a clean move to the left and continue this thing up? Right. So obviously we could see that we're holding some kind of a support right here. Looking at the 4-hour. Now the 4 hours more so in like a range right here, right? You could really put this right here and identify a fake out. We created the high after the fake out. We come back down, retest that area. Now we're continuing up, closing above this resistance. But at the same time, what I'm probably going to do is just move this right here, just because that really is that previous support that we ended up respecting over here. But we did respect a higher support in these two areas as well, but we don't have to pay too much attention to that. The main attention that you want to pay is the fact that we just got a very strong 4-hour candle close over here with a high created right above that resistance right here. So can this candle hold support, right? And can we continue up to retest that high? So far in the 4-hour, this looks beautiful. On the 4-hour, this looks like if this was on the 30-minute, you guys would be waiting for this to hold a support and take this out, wouldn't you? You know, so you just got to check the range. Got about 87 to 90 pips in this area to retest that high over here. Right. So that's looking pretty good. And that, you know, I think, I don't know if Jamie's in here. No, Jamie's been trading on the higher time frames, but you know, it's something on the 4-hour. If you see like a bullish candle close here on the 4-hour, this would be a good intraday swing over here to take this thing up. But let's see if we can grab it on the lower time frames with a tighter stop loss. All right, so you had this previous resistance over here. Price is holding support in that area. We have used this as a previous resistance as well. So what I would do is probably move this over here. And what you want to do is wait for any kind of close above this price action because we are rejecting the area. But at the same time, our most recent support is down here. And that most recent resistance is right down there as well. And right here, as you can see, we clearly broke right through that area, created that high. This candle closed above that resistance as well. And then we created this new resistance, which we're going to mark off right now. So that's like our new price action right here. Most recent support and resistance, right? Support, resistance up here. And we keep rejecting the area. So already you could see that we would be waiting for, we don't really want to trade in here with that price action to the left. We'd rather trade up in here. I'm just also going to move this up. Bring that down. Now look at the 30-minute. 30-minute, we just keep rejecting this area. Right, so there's no point of taking anything in here. This is a no trade range. Oop. Got your no trade range in here. And then up here, it does get a little choppy. So what I would want to see is a support formed right in this area so that we could take this thing up if need be. If you do get that it's like a breakout and the candle closes like a strong bullish candle close outside of this area, right? And you're comfortable with that, wait for the bottom wick rejection. If you have volume in the market, maybe this thing could head right back up and you could take something like that. But just understand that you want to grab your 1-to-1. Price most likely will come right back down to retest the previous support over here, previous resistance, and then continue back up because you don't have like a clean move over here. So I would say, like, if you're going to take a breakout, this would be your take profit, either this or just straight 1-to-1 over here, right? And then anticipate the retest, and then maybe you could get the retest as well. I've done that many times where you can really grab the breakout, understand the anatomy of the candles and the way, you know, price is probably exhausting with the area to the left, and then you can close the full thing or close majority of it and then let it come down and retest, wait for the support to form, and then take that as well. That's your second trade for the day. All right, so we're gonna make that blue. Bring it in a little bit. So does anyone understand the buys for GJ over here? This would be more so like a orange range. So that's what we're looking at for buys over here. Now for sells, let's go back up to the higher time frames. Now the 4-hour, again, like we ended up getting that clean close above that area, right? Now if this candle closes back into that range around 9 o'clock, right? Let's say we get bad GDP, people are starting to pour the money into the Japanese yen. Could we end up capitalizing on a fake out over here and continuing down, at least down into this area over here? It does get a little choppy, but it's possible. Yeah, see that on the 1-hour? You have some fairly clean candles over here where if, you know, we keep rejecting this area over here, if you get that close below this area, could you capitalize on this? At least down into here, let's measure the range. Got about 50 pips down to this most nearest support over here. All right. So again, I would say this is an orange range too. It's a little iffy to be counter trend trading over here, but it could end up happening. You could get that fake out because we've rejected in this area multiple times here. And the last time we tapped into that, we have created a higher high over here. But at the same time, last time we came into this whole zone right here, you got this hard move down. A nice little fake out right there too. Get what I'm saying? So maybe that could happen. You're not breaking structure until you close below this area and most likely this area as well. And so you get that clean move to the left over here that you could capitalize on. And then down here as well. We'll worry about that at the time. But again, 4-hour daily, we're all, holding that higher low, pretty bullish. It's hard for me to sell here yet until this daily candle starts to flip bearish. And it shows that we're kind of reacting to that resistance right there, right? And this is only like this was our resistance. We did close above, then we closed right back inside with that candle. We closed right back inside with that candle, created this low down here, right? And now could we be retesting this area to continue right back down? You guys see that too? So there's multiple plays that you guys could understand and play right over here. So if we get that fake out, that's becoming more and more likely. If we don't and price holds that support and we start to bounce off this area like we have in the past over here, this thing could continue right back up. Plus depends on the data. So this is probably going to start to range or continue to range until 8:30 over here. But that's GJ. Let's look at gold now. Get a good idea of where price is going to go. That's ranging as well. Monthly has retraced a little bit as well, right? Starting to come back down to these candle body highs. Probably going to end up moving this, right? But we are rejecting that area. But we've been extremely bullish over here the last few months. Last 3 months, it's just been, shooting right up during November, starting in November, all the way through the end of January right now. Just because, the dollar's been coming down. Anyone know why? Come on, you guys know. Why has the dollar been coming down? Anyone?
I know.
As the inflation comes down,
Inflation comes down, so the central bank's not doing what?
increasing
They're
rates.
stopping rising rates as fast as they used to.
Exactly. Yeah, not as fast. They're still doing it, but they're not at the same pace they were. So great job, guys. Want to make sure you guys are on your fundamentals. So again, we've just been extremely bullish over here. Higher lows, higher highs. Looking at the daily now. Daily, we're starting to get, again, we had that previous resistance over here right around 1920. Right over here where we ended up closing above, held support again, held support again over here, right? And closed above that next high that we created. And right now, could we be holding a support right in that area as well to then continue back up and create another higher low and higher high? Coming back up into 1960. That's that resistance over here to the left that we've respected multiple times here. Bring that to the left. Right. So at some point we need to come down. Like I'm not gonna, buy into sells right now where it's just like, you know what, I think price is gonna correct. So in order for that to happen, that's what I'm just going to I'm gonna basically only have that bias, right? Where people just think like price is going to come down. So they start thinking sells. No, you also understand bias too. And everything is showing us bias. I understand the temptation to just be like, no, it's going to start coming down. I understand that because that's kind of how I think naturally sometimes. It's like, okay, it's like you just kind of question things. You're like, I don't know. This is way too overbought. I think we could start coming down. You understand that, but at the same time, you're not going to play it until you start seeing the candles. So right now, we're still creating higher lows and higher highs. You don't have safe sells maybe until you start breaking this area. That doesn't mean you can't take anything in here, but at the same time, you're not breaking structure until this, and then you're really not breaking structure until this. And then that's where we start to really correct. But right now, we're just continuing to push up. Right over here was that recent resistance. This candle did close below that area over here, right? We're still holding resistance with the current 4-hour candle here, right? We haven't broken back above and held a higher low and came back into the range to hold a support and then continue up yet. We're still holding that resistance. So looking at the 1 hour, yeah, the 1 hour is struggling. Excuse me. Struggling to hold that resistance right there, or support as well. We're just kind of consolidating right in this area, right below that previous resistance over here. You could mark it like this. I mean, we've got most of our rejections down there, but yeah, we can mark it like that. Let's look at the 1 hour. Yeah, because you got your most recent support over here that we ended up breaking below. And then you got more so that area right there. Yeah, that's where we're going to put it. Got that previous resistance, previous support, and then we held support over here. So we ended up closing below there. And right now we're holding some kind of a resistance right here and a support right here, which you could drag to the left. We've rejected that area multiple times. That was a previous high for us that we ended up rejecting and retesting a couple times before coming back down. But right now we're holding a support in that area, right? So that could be a potential higher low that gold continues up from. Let's see if we're holding any kind of trend over here. Nah, you don't have to put that in there. Right now we have this high up here, right? I think safe buys are going to be above this area. You hold support right there. You know that price could most likely not only retest that high, but continue up, right? And that would have to be probably bad GDP for that to happen. All right, but below there, say we get some really good GDP, a nice surprise, right? And they're expecting bad GDP anyway. But say we get a good surprise over here, you get a clean move to the left to continue right back down and mirror this move. How many pips is that? 118. Up here, you got about 80. Back up to the higher time frames. Yeah, you see how like this whole area really you could really mark off as a previous resistance and support. So if we can start to again break out of this area, hold it as support, most likely we're retesting that high. And plus we're in a bullish trend anyway. This will be tricky to take because you're trading against the trend and you haven't really broken structure yet other than faking this out. But it could happen if you get your setup, right? So I would just stay patient, wait for the news to come out, wait for the reaction, right? And then end up capitalizing on something like this. But again, these are going to be your safer sells. It's almost like you can put this right here. And then that right there. Got that. And then this whole thing I wouldn't be touching. Even if we break that current resistance of the range that we're in, I still would want to wait for this area to break above before we continue anything up. Make sense? Anyone got anything to add or point out? Let's get some thoughts together. Lenny, what are you seeing on gold? I know we haven't jumped on our Zoom yet, but just want to see what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I see is ranging between 137 and 134. I'm waiting for the breakout and retest of the 137 because
Are you saying like 1937?
sorry, yeah, 1937.
Okay. I didn't know if you meant like the decimal points, but yeah, absolutely. We're just these candles are very weak. You see, like whenever you get a lot of like big candles, there's a lot of volume in those candles. Whenever you get small bodies like this, there's no volume in there. No one's touching gold yet until that data comes out. Especially
And
being
148 and 148 was the demand zone because it was the high of day too, right?
148. 1948 up here.
1948, yeah,
Yeah, so that's a supply zone.
yeah.
Supply is the
Supply.
resistance. Demand is support. So
Yeah,
just
yeah,
think
sorry.
down, demand. That's
Yeah.
how I've always remembered it. But down, demand. People want to buy with demand. So yeah, we're just really just consolidating in here. No volume. Everything's sideways. Might as well just wait for news to come out and then trade the reaction. That's what we're looking for.
Have a retest, the break and retest. Is it on a 15? You look at it on 30 minutes or 15 minute?
As far as if I see a break and retest,
Yeah.
it depends on the setup. Like yesterday, I used typically I use the 30-minute, but like I can trade on the 15-minute, and then when it comes to the reaction to the news for me, I'm trading based on the higher time frames, but I can really enter on the 5-minute or the 1-minute. And that's typically on gold whenever you get like price just like catapulting, right? I'm not
Mhm.
gonna just kind of jump on the rocket, or I'm not gonna jump on a moving train. What I'm gonna do is at least wait for this little pullback over here on like the 1-minute or the 5-minute, and if price holds a support, right, in the first like 5 minutes after that news comes out, we understand what the data is. Then I can jump on this, and I'm usually just getting my 1-to-1 and leaving a runner and letting that thing go, or the opposite as well. But that's the only time you're really seeing me enter on the 5-minute. Now, sometimes I use those to manage risk or see where if I'm in like a winning trade, I already secured majority of my trade at my pip count that I wanted, and now I have a runner. If I start to see that runner like starting to consolidate on the lower time frames, like the 5-minute, the 1-minute, and you're starting to see the exhaustion in the candles on the higher time frames too, that's where you could secure again. But that just takes time. It takes experience trying to understand that. And there's going to be a lot of times that you may end up micromanaging your trade by doing that. But understand like that's why you backtest to do it on a backtesting simulator before you end up doing that in the live market. When we get on our Zoom, we're going to put together a plan for you so that you understand what your system is and that how successful it is based on your backtesting. We have like a little implementation plan. Now the key is sticking to it. Not a lot of people do. All right, so looking at US 30 now. Wow, we're getting a nice little push right now. So looking at the monthly again, same thing, sitting really in that that is how I trade, but I like to short. You like to short as far as like you like selling more than buying?
Yeah, I prefer shorting, it's like
Okay.
80% of my trades mostly.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I've always thought that was like a personality thing. Or not wondered. I never thought, but I like wondered, like, is that a personality thing? Like more optimistic people tend to buy and more pessimistic people tend to sell. Like I wonder if that's a thing. I'm more of an optimistic person, but at the same time, I do feel like I like selling too. I like selling majority of the time. It's not a vast majority. It's not like 70%, 80% that I'm selling, but it's I would say it's probably 60-40 that I prefer to sell. I just feel like the market is easier falling, and it moves faster falling than, trying to rise and rally.
Yeah, exactly. Shorts always a bit faster than buys.
Right? Yeah. It's a little bit it's like trying to tug along. It's trying to work its way up. Unless you get a lot of optimism. I love catching nice buys, but at the same time I feel like, a lot of my like impulse volume push, like Quentin, you love that too, right? So I know I keep saying Quentin for some reason, but for some reason I think you like that setup. But impulse volume push, I feel like is more successful selling than it is on a buy.
They saying like stock market like to take stairs up and elevator down.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so like the impulse volume push that we talk about, it's like you get that strong candle, typically a longer wick like that, I would say, the next candle closes with a huge top wick, and it closes like a small body like that. Then the next candle creates like a beautiful top wick. Actually, I'll move it over. A nice top wick like that, flips bearish and continues down. Once it passes the low, this candle could have a small wick as well. But once it passes the low, this thing is, going to fill that wick and continue down. Now, depending on the time of the day, this thing, you want to make sure that you're securing either at that wick fill or like as it's starting to make that push, and then when you start to see price exhausting, especially on gold, you want to be securing down here. Like after it makes that push, it's like an impulsive entry, and also make sure that you're securing down there. Now, depending on the trend and all that stuff, like there's multiple factors to it. But a lot of times I like to leave a runner on this too, because next candle is going to create, let's say it closes somewhere up here with a wick to fill. Next one's going to create that top wick and continue right back down. But I've always found that this is more successful in a sell as opposed to a buy, where you get that bullish candle close. Again, bigger top wick. Next candle creates like a nice bottom wick, closes like a doji. And then the next candle creates that bottom wick, flips bullish, passes the high, and then takes off. I love when that happens, don't get me wrong, but I've always found that I like selling it more than I do buying. All right. I think we got Ramona just came in. What's up, Ramona? Good morning. I don't know if you're on your way to work or you might not be able to talk, but I just want to introduce you to everyone real quick. All right. All right. So looking at the monthly over here, currently sitting in this area. Just gonna mark it. There we go. Currently sitting inside this range. Good morning, all. Currently at work. Just wanted to tune in. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Welcome in. All right. So the current candle holding that support, right? Strong bullish candle so far. Holding that 33,000 support, right? We were talking about prices a lot yesterday too, and we ended up fixing the annotation on the back testing, so that was good to see. But I think that was great practice for you, kind of off subject. I think it was great practice for you guys breaking down charts and just calling out prices. Like I think the support is at this price. I think resistance is at this price. I think that's a big deal for you guys to understand and really pay attention to those prices. Kind of like Lenny, what you were just calling out there. Like I think that's a great practice for you guys to pay attention to price, and it's also part of your entry checklist. But anyway, monthly hasn't changed too much. I know we were coming down a little bit over here last week. Last week we ended up retesting that previous resistance right up top here. Change that. Ended up retesting that resistance perfectly, right? It just reached that resistance, that high that we created over here, and we ended up rejecting. Just like we did with that candle, this candle came all the way into that area, but again, rejected that area for the fourth time. So now we came right into that area. It's a strong, strong supply zone, right? So we ended up bouncing off that area hard, getting a strong close. But at the same time, again, as the Fed has been more and more dovish, and it's been more and more like, we're going to continue to increase rates, but not at the pace that we've been in 2022, this stock market has been really rallying. Right. But now, we're getting into that talk of, okay, we've entered 2023. We've been talking about a recession of 2023 and how, GDP, we're getting GDP in the next, I don't know, 30 minutes, 24 minutes, something like that. GDP has been going down as well. Right. So there's been some hesitation as far as any kind of optimism, even with the Fed being as dovish as they've been, or talking as dovish as they've been. There's been some kind of hesitation when it comes to any kind of breaking through major areas over here, or like breaking through this area over here at least and continuing up. Like it hasn't had the fundamentals or the strength to do so. So we've still been holding this lower high over here. I mean, we have created a new higher high from this area over here, but again, we're kind of rejecting. We keep faking that area out. Now, what we're doing over here, again, you're creating this higher low over here, right? Creating this higher low over here, we came back down retested this area. This candle is very bullish on the week. We've been bullish pretty much all week over here. And now we're starting to come into this area. I don't want you to pay too much attention to it, but just understand that we've rejected this area multiple times, and we'll see if we can continue to push through and retest the high or create a new high up here. Looking at the daily, I'm just going to adjust this a little bit over here. That's our most recent high that we retested. Ended up rejecting it the same exact way, or almost the same exact way in the past over here. We've rejected it, came right back down to this support over here, held support, and now we're pushing up. And what we ended up getting was a very weak bearish candle yesterday. Oh, there you go.
Also
So
no wick yet.
what's up? Yeah,
It's also no wick yet.
there's a very tiny wick. I don't know if you guys could see it, right?
Ah, yeah.
You get that very tiny wick. And this, I mean, this is similar to what I was just talking about with the impulse volume push, right? So we form that bottom wick, small bottom wick. Typically, I like it a little bit bigger. I'll point it out to you on the daily on GJ, the one I capitalized on last week. But yeah, typically I like a bigger wick, but we have passed the high of that candle and continuing up. That doesn't mean we're going to take anything just yet. We have GDP coming out, so we don't know if we're going to break through this level yet. But again, this is that same level. I'm going to make it like a thin zone just because we've broken through it multiple times over here with this candle, this one right over here, this one right here. We've broken through that area easily multiple times already, right? So we don't know if we're actually going to reject it or not just yet. I would like to see it close above that area, but just want to thin these zones out. You guys know me with my OCD with breaking down charts. Yeah, you got that support right there. You had like a little bit of a fake out right over here, and then we kept holding this support, and then we came right back down into that area. You can really draw it like that, as price likes to come down into this area, right? That was a strong resistance as well, where price pushed down from. Same thing right over here. I just don't like drawing it like that. So we got that support right over here. Strong bullish pressure. Yesterday ended up closing bearish, pushing all the way into this area, but then catapulting back up and closing right above 33,700. Right. So now this candle is all bullish right now with some optimism that we may get some surprise in what's it called? In GDP. Now, what could happen right here, right, is this bullish candle is creating a top wick over here, right? And we've seen this before many times, following a candle like this, where you end up getting a top wick formed, and then all of a sudden that bearish candle ends up that bullish candle ends up flipping bearish and continuing right back down. And that would happen with even worse GDP than what they're expecting. If they're expecting, 2.6 over the previous being 3.2, right? And we get 2.5, 2.7, 2.6, anywhere in that window, right? You're not going to see a huge surprise move, right? But if we see anything like 2.0, if we see 1.8, something like that, much worse than previous and much worse than the forecast, you're going to see something exactly like this. And you're going to see this candle start to flip bearish and continue right back down. But again, any kind of optimism, anything above 2.6 over here. So anything maybe around like 3.0 or even like better than previous, like 3.4, 3.5, 3.6, this thing is going to take off, and that's going to be your impulse volume push, the clean move to the left. Now we'll see how we can capitalize on that without entering any kind of trade before the news comes out. So as you can see, you could move this right here as it's holding support, but as you can see, that wick and understanding how candles form on the higher time frames compared to lower time frames, you know that wick is some kind of a resistance right there that we've rejected multiple times already right now. And this candle is trying to push above. It created a higher low and a higher high past the high of that candle. But again, we're rejecting this area right here, as well as that wick to the left, right? So if we do close above that area, right, can you see price coming into this resistance right here? Right, that could happen. And once that ends up happening, you got this whole area to the left over here, clean candles coming all the way into 34,000 330. Let's say a tongue twister. You can't say that too many times. So anyway, we're holding that support right here, right? And we're kind of like sitting in a range, you know, based on the 4 hour, that this is probably a range on the 1 hour, the 30-minute. Yeah, see that? So you just adjust that right there, holding that support, but we keep rejecting this area. We rejected that area pretty hard, coming all the way down. We came into that area, retested that high over here, and failed to break above that area, but still held a higher low. So that tells us that we're sitting in a range, right? We need a clean close above that area. And once you get that, you got this clean move to the left, right? For about 173 points. And above that, I mean, we could mark off that all-time high up there, or, you know, couple week high. But at the same time, your next area of resistance where you're going to probably be taking profit is right there. But you know that you got plenty of pips on the way up to that point. There are points. You got about 266 coming up into that area. Right, so those are the ranges you want to trade in. You don't want to force anything in here. But let's say, again, we get really bad GDP, a nice surprise, right? Or a bad surprise. You got this whole area that you could be trading in. Clean move to the left. Right, now what I'm going to do is move this down here to our most recent support. We bounced off that area multiple times to the left over here as well. And you got a clean move coming down over here. 340 points. And then below that, again, all these clean candles that you could be mirroring. 344. So in here, I wouldn't touch this. Just wait for the data to come out. You got these areas. That you could trade in. And that should be identical. Coming into that support. Why is that down so much? Let's see. Oh, I didn't adjust that yet. That's why. Yeah, so you got that most recent support over there. Might want to take some profit right here as well. But we don't have to mark this as a separate zone. That's, you know, you got this, all these clean candles coming all the way down there. You got that wick to fill as well. Just wait for a nice close below this area or a retest. And that'll be your move. But as you can see, we're really rejecting this area right now and just kind of consolidating. Same thing with gold. And this is where you really just sit back, wait for the news. I wouldn't trade anything before 5 minutes after 8:30. So 8:35, you could really start to trade. Unless you see that perfect like pullback on like the 1 minute, the 5 minute. I don't suggest a lot of you guys do that, but a lot of you guys have been having experience with trading the reaction to the news. So if you do and you back tested it 100 times, then you guys should be good. Let's go back to GJ. GJ just keeps rejecting that area. Again, very dicey taking any kind of sells just yet, right? But again, you're really understanding this area as well that we're rejecting, right? And that's the daily. That could be that previous resistance here on the daily, that price closed below over here, retesting. If we hold that resistance, we could continue this thing down with any kind of bad GDP. Again, it could affect GJ, maybe not, but typically GJ, if you guys think about it, it's not only the currency pair of, you know, Great Britain compared to Japan. It's also like a risk on currency pair, right? It's also like, okay, if risk is on and people want to invest and people want to like pour their money into more risk on currency pairs, this is probably the first one that they go to, one of the first ones. Right. And also the same thing for the opposite way. It's the first thing that they sell because when you're selling this pair, you're really buying the Japanese yen, and the Japanese yen is the Asian safe haven. US dollar, Japanese yen, Swiss franc, all safe havens. All right. So before news comes out, I got to use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. You guys talk amongst yourselves. And then we'll be ready to roll for GDP. Looking forward to this. All right. Be right back, guys. Yo, yo. So let's see. We'll pull this up. I'm gonna pull up financial juice. We'll try this one again. Something real quick. Sydney, you got your voice back, huh?
Yeah, it's back. Not quite good, but it's back, yeah.
That's fine. Does it hurt to talk?
No, not at all. But yesterday it was very, yeah.
Yesterday I did.
Yeah.
You think it was like a sore throat?
I'm sorry?
You think it was like a sore throat?
Yeah. But vitamin C is really helping, yeah.
Yes, sir. Dr. Stefanos. Right. So we'll focus on gold here. I know we got US 30 going, a couple of us trade. But we'll focus on gold. That's what we know best. And we're just gonna wait and see what we got. So GDP quarter to quarter, durable goods is coming out. So all three of them right here. That's good. And typically this updates us the fastest. I saw a hedge fund manager, and this is some of the ugly stuff of here we go. This is some of the ugly stuff of hitting a recession. Founder of an investment firm at 46 plunges to his death from New York City rooftop bar. So this hopefully, I mean, I don't think that was by accident, but if you guys remember, you ever see The Big Short? Anybody?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
it's
seen
Yeah.
a great movie.
Yeah, so there's this one scene with Brad Pitt where the two dudes like really realize like, oh shit, like we really hit a gold mine here. We understand what's about to happen with the housing market. And they're kind of like celebrating almost. And Brad Pitt like yells at him. He turns around and yells at him. He's like, "Don't you realize what happens every time we hit a recession, or every single time the Dow drops by a point, 46,000 people die or kill themselves by suicide." It's like all those underlying statistics.
Damn, bro.
What's up? What's up, Lewis?
No, I didn't know about is that
Hey,
an actual
all right,
or that was
don't take my word on those exact numbers, but it's something close to that. So,
so what were you saying about them all?
Pitt, Big Short, don't dance. I'm not gonna pull it up right now because it's this scene right here. Yeah, look at this. 1% unemployment goes up, 40,000 die.
Damn.
I'll pull that up in a second. But yeah, it's crazy. All right, so let me just get my shit ready over here. Magic keys. There we go. Magic keys is on. Okay, we'll see. Again, we're not trading the actual news. 5 seconds coming out. All right, starting to drop over here. Come on, financial juice. What do we get? Jobless claims went up. What are we? Core durable goods went down over here. What's PCE? Okay, so less jobless claims, which is good. 186,000. Less than previous and less than what was expected here. Let me just go back to Forex Factory because that's what we know
Gold
best.
is really falling, yeah.
Yep. And that's okay. You know, you want to sit there, you want to be calm. Now, GDP was much better than expected, right? It was worse than previous, but at the same time, better than expected. So that's the main data that's coming out today. That's what's pushing gold down. Now, again, you're not trying to catch a falling knife. You're not trying to just jump in during the news. What you want to do is just wait for hopefully price to hold a resistance over here or close below that area. And then you can end up jumping into a trade. But let's see. Just wait for your setup. Okay, advanced GDP rose as well, higher than expected. This is good. This is great news for the US. Core durable goods down a little bit when it comes to core, but when it comes to durable goods, it's really good. See, gold should continue to drop over here, right? We're going to see some strength in the US dollar over here. Unemployment claims. Yeah, unemployment claims. All good numbers. Wow. Okay. Now gold is all over the place right now. You got to wait for candles to close. Let's see. Stock market's probably going to be going up at some point. Still rejecting that area. But what I see is this candle has no top wick yet. It could be grabbing liquidity, flipping bullish over here. And, you know, it came out 2 minutes ago. What I could see is a potential. I'd rather see candles close above this area over here. But I could see this 30-minute candle, if it creates that bottom wick and then starts to pass the high of these wicks, a stop loss down here to catch this whole move coming up into this area over here, I could see that end up happening. Now, the only reason why that stuff wouldn't happen is price was pretty much, all these good numbers were pretty much priced in over here. And just kind of holding this support, right? That could be the case as well. That's why you're not seeing much of a big move. Because again, I would say price plays out maybe 80% of the time as you would expect, right? Even if it's like priced in, you expect the price in sometimes. But when it comes to that 20% of the time, sometimes price does the exact opposite of what could possibly happen or what you think, and it kind of throws you off. It's like, well, why did that end up happening? And that's the nature of the market, because you got technical analysis, fundamental analysis, and sentimental analysis. Maybe you don't understand that one of those pillars. So now we got some good surprise numbers, as they were expecting worse than previous over here, you know, for some of these, and we got much better, and unemployment dropped over here. So what I would expect is, you know, GJ should end up rising. We may be getting a close above this resistance. Maybe you could take this thing up today. Gold, let's see if we close below this level over here, get this fake out, get the close below, and then you could take this whole range down. But again, looking at the higher time frames over here, you're really trading against the trend in this range. Once you break here, you're starting to break that trend and break the structure of the market, and you could take this thing down. That's more of a green zone. Sammy, what do you want to see over here? No short deal today. Sammy, you there? Good talk. Quinn, what do you want to see today?
I mean, I like the ranges. The candles are pretty clean, so if we get a close below, and can try to take the next candle once it breaks the lows.
Okay. Yeah, Serge, I'm thinking the same thing too. There's gold. Yeah. So gold over here, let's see the dollar. Dollar is holding support over here with some of that news, right? We just had a nice little jump. If we can hold support at this previous support to the left, right? Get this like nice bounce over here on the daily, and this thing continues to break above that area and continues back up to that resistance, you're going to see gold continuing down, and you just may be able to catch this range over here. Because again, what I see is nice impulsive move coming down, especially into that area right there. You get the consolidation, and typically you get the same size move on the other side of that area. I would just wait for that candle to close below this area. I'm trying to catch this. I want to make sure that we hold this as a resistance first. We get that top wick. Stop loss can go in the middle of this range, multiple pips above that wick, and then you could take this down to fill that candle and then continue down. That is what I'd like to see. US 30 as well. US 30 is still kind of ranging. Now the move could be coming after 9:30. But yeah, it's ranging. GJ rejecting that area. Gold seems to be the only one moving so far. Now, while we're doing this, what I'm going to do is start the journal. Anybody, what's this? Why is that there? Anybody not see me journal that would like to, or want to see me do it again before I do it on my other screen, so it's not in our way? You guys all pretty much get it? Yeah, Quentin,
Yeah.
you get the hang of it. I just know it helps sometimes. Most likely short on 1:26:23 at AM Thursday, New York. So this is daily post news. Really retracing over here. Look at that. That retracement. So that could just end up like, we don't know yet because price is just sitting in a range, but that could end up being like the just the retracement from the news, and now price continues right back up. But we shall see. All right. All right, here we go. US 30 just grabbed liquidity over here on the 15-minute. This is what I was talking about. So I would probably just wait for the 15-minute to close above this range. Clean move to the left, positive data. This thing should continue to rise over here into the stock exchange open at 9:30, but you never know until you actually see it. And most likely we'll be able to grab a trade on either one. So I'm just going to start taking some screenshots for US 30 as well. Anybody looking at GJ? Anything happening over there? US 30.
Looks like it wants to break the resistance that's on that created last night on London, but nothing really.
Okay. This was the 30-minute.
It's got 20 minutes for the hour close.
Yes, sir. Is that what you're waiting for?
I mean, not really, to be honest. I'm just watching.
See, honestly, for me, I love this setup over here. Still getting used to US 30, but I'd rather see that close above. But this liquidity grab right here, let's go back to the higher time frames. This is that what I tell you guys about positive data coming out for US 30. Got the impulse volume push, right? And if we got bad data, that would be a top wick and we continue down. But now we're getting the impulse volume push. 4-hour candle is holding support. Now this 4-hour candle doesn't close until 10 a.m. Right, so this could very well continue right back up and give us a nice push. 1 hour, last 1 hour candle gave us a strong bullish candle close with a wick to fill, not above the resistance, but right at the resistance. This is the one of those that I talk about where it could close below, but make sure the next one respects the low and continues high. And as long as you have volume with clean moves, you could possibly take that. But 30-minute as well. 30 minutes starting to retrace from that area. But I think with a stop loss down here, I'm kind of live back testing this in my mind. This thing continuing right back up. But 15-minute is going to be closing in the next 3 minutes. So this should very well, if it does close above, I think we could see this thing continue up. And that's that reaction to the news we talk about. Who else trades US 30 in here? Anybody?
Not me.
No, you? Okay.
I would trade Dow Jones. So you entered or?
No. I haven't entered yet. I'm just waiting on the 15-minute to see how this thing ends up closing. Does it close bullish? Does it close strong bullish? All right. Multiple things got to happen.
I really like on Dow Jones that there's no commission and also the low spread and everything. So that's why I also want to trade Dow Jones.
Okay. Sydney's all about cost efficiency, which I like. Right? Taxes in Cyprus, no commissions. Good shit.
Yeah.
1 hour. When are you going back to Cyprus?
17th of March.
Okay. Oh, you guys will find this funny. I had a Zoom the other day with someone from the northern part of Cyprus, and they're Turkish, and we were like kind of messing around with each other. And what's it called? His Wi-Fi just kept going. I think he might be joining next month. He's in the middle of jobs and stuff like that, so I don't know what he's doing, but I'm not putting pressure on him. But what's it called? His Wi-Fi just kept going out. I was like, yeah, it's just probably because you're in the northern part of Cyprus. Just digging at him a little bit, and he was laughing. For those of you that don't get that, there's a lot of animosity between the two. Rightfully so.
The northern side of Cyprus is really cheap, so yeah, we thought about it that we are just staying there because it's just a half of the prices of the apartment. So, but some people said it's really dangerous there.
Yeah, there's a reason why it's so cheap.
Yeah.
Definitely a reason. Check this out on the 15-minute. All right, 15 is going to close in 10 seconds. Let's see how this thing closes. Sammy's going to miss his move. All right, GJ just ended up closing above here on the 15-minute, which is beautiful. Let's go to the higher time frames. 1 hour looks great to continue up. I just don't like the room to the left over there. Yeah, this thing is, again, continuing up here on the daily. 4 hour holding support. Again, the previous 4 hour candle closed a strong bullish. Now we got the data. GJ continuing up. Maybe if you guys trade on the 30-minute, wait for the 30 minutes to close above. Now gold over here has not given us a top wick just yet. I want to go back to this. US 30. Okay, so gold hasn't given us that top wood yet. So for me, I want to see price pull back into this area, give us a top wick, and then continue down. And that'll be one of our moves. But let's take a screenshot of that together. Don't get trapped with that, because it could very well snap right back up, give us a top wick, take you out if your stop loss is up here, and then all of a sudden you're pissed off at yourself. Gold. What is it? This is the 15-minute. Yeah. All right, US 30 closed above that area. 1 hour looks good. Yeah, I think I would put my stop loss below this 1 hour. I just want to see it start to break its own highs over here, and we could possibly take this thing up. And with your stop loss below that area, right down here, entry would be somewhere over there. You got your 1-to-1, 1.21 up to that resistance. This is where you really got to be patient with your setups.
Would it be an impulse entry?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's say like this, it would be breaking its own highs on the 30-minute, the 1 hour. And this 15-minute would be creating that bottom wick and then passing the high of the previous candle. And you could probably put your stop loss too right below this candle, right below that previous wick over there to the left. Right, that should be safe. If this candle is creating a healthy top bottom wick and passes the high of that candle, you might not have to put it all the way down here.
Would you work with buy stops in this situation?
You don't need to. We're at the market, so I just I wanna be able to watch the candles, and if the candles moving the way I want, sure. Like it's very rare that like what happened to us yesterday during the London session, right, where we were waiting for price to break its own lows during the back testing, and then price just left without us. Like that's pretty rare for that to happen. But we were able to catch that move on New York. By the way, we started that new account. We're up around 1.75% after
Great.
yesterday.
I wanted to yeah, with my voice I didn't want to join yesterday, so
Oh, you're good,
today
man.
I'm going back.
Yeah, the recording is in the database for you. Quentin setting up a hot date, it looks like. Lovebird over there in France. Is Casanova French?
Oh, it doesn't really sound French, but I don't know.
For
I
some reason
mean,
I thought that.
Casanova must be Spanish.
Casanova sounds Spanish. It does. Wow, look at that. See that on gold? If you put your stop loss halfway between that range, you would have already been stopped out. So let's see if this candle ends up holding resistance. That's why we're going a little bit later today, so that we could possibly catch a trade together. Maybe before New York Stock Exchange opens.
Oh, it's supposed to be from Venice.
What's up?
Casanova
What about him?
from Venice.
Oh, so he's Italian. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Ends with a
Italian.
vowel.
Yeah.
Anybody ever see Don Juan DeMarco with Johnny Depp? He plays this crazy guy who's like, we got ladies in here, so I can't go crazy. But he's
Don Juan, is that what you said?
Don Juan DeMarco. He's like he thinks he's like this almost like superhero.
Well, Don Juan in Spanish is like
Yeah,
like
he's
a
Spanish.
player.
Let me see. Actually, I won't do YouTube. Don Juan DeMarco. Yeah, Johnny Depp and Marlon Brando.
Johnny Depp plays some crazy characters, bro.
Yeah, he's like some like lover dude that is all
Well,
over
you know,
the
well,
place.
well, yeah, Don Juan is like if you call somebody a Don Juan like in any Spanish countries, like you're calling you like a player, like you're like
Yeah,
a, you're like a
exactly.
dog.
That's exactly what he is. He's a player, and he's all over the place. He's just fooling around. We'll put it
You
that
ever,
way.
you ever seen Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas?
Oh yeah, I love that movie. It's crazy.
That movie's crazy, bro.
I watched that in college when you know, we were different people in college.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, bro. Me too. I watched that for the first time. I was like, wow.
Oh yeah, that's a crazy movie. Has anyone ever
Mhm.
seen that?
You guys ever seen that movie before? Fear and
No,
Loathing in
never
Las
seen.
Vegas?
Oh yeah, Fear and Loathing, yeah, it's a classic.
Charlie's a
Bro.
big movie guy. He knows everything I'm talking about all the time. I love it.
It was actually my
Least-
girlfriend who showed it to me. I didn't know that because it's kind of an old movie. It's like in the 90s, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah, it's crazy though. Fear and Loathing. I'll play the trailer real quick. And we gotta watch that clip. I'll show you. Yeah, this is
With the bats.
yeah. Oh yeah, he's
This is called the Online Business Launch Map, and it's the one-page
They're
strategy
nuts.
that we use to sell.
tell me if you could hear this.
Whoa, it's pulling back. Oh.
What's up?
Put it lower.
Oh,
Put her up.
Put it
Put her
back up.
Put it what?
I think the volume needs to go up.
Oh here, let me
Yeah, gold. The gold is pulling back up.
yeah, I'm just
Oh, God's going.
real quick.
Oh,
we're
you're
gonna-
talking about
There we go. That's why you don't fucking sell right there. I don't know why I said fucking. You don't have to curse right there. But again, I think safe buys are going to be above this whole area over here. I would wait for the 4 hour to close. Wait for the 4 hour to close. The 4 hour is going to create a nice support right in this area. All right. If that's the case, the next one creates a bottom wick, passes the high. We're creating a new high up here and continuing up. All right. So that could have just been the pullback from the news, not affecting gold too much. Okay. We're continuing right back up. Yeah. See, dollar is still retracing over here, creating that top wick and continuing down potentially.
Dow Jones is also rising.
All right, here we go. This might be our trade. At this point, you're probably going to want to wait for the close. But we'll see how this candle ends up forming. Again, I think a safe stop loss might be below there. Let me go back. This is a shitty
You want me to go to Las Vegas
there we go. Can you hear that?
once? Make contact
Yeah.
with a Portuguese photographer named Lacerda. As your attorney, I advise you to rent a very fast car with no top. And you'll need the cocaine. What kind of story is this? Spin 400. It's the richest off-road race for motorcycles and dune buggies in the history of organized sport. The race was definitely underway. I had witnessed the start. I was sure of that much.
Are you ready for that? Checking into a Vegas hotel under a phony name with intent to commit capital fraud and a head full of acid? I sure hope so.
I'm not entering anything. Just get my magic keys ready.
Strange memories on this nervous night in Las Vegas. Has it been 5 years?
Run like crazy, Josh.
6? It seems like a lifetime. The kind of peak that never comes again.
Lucy paints portraits of Barbara Streisand.
God bless.
We were riding the
Christina
crest
Ricci.
of a high and beautiful wave.
I want you to throw that fucking radio into the tub with me. wave finally broke and rolled back.
Kind of a shitty trailer. Like you don't really understand what's
Doesn't do the movie justice.
Nah, not at all. Dude, trailers back then sucked. They like almost ruin the movie. It makes you not want to watch the movie. It does the opposite. But here's that scene from Too Short.
Stop it. Stop. What? You have any idea what you just did?
Come on, we just made the deal of our lifetimes. We should celebrate.
You just bet against the American economy.
Fuck yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Which means, if we're right, people lose homes, people lose jobs, people lose retirement savings, people lose pensions. You know what I hate about fucking banking? It reduces people to numbers. Here's a number. Every 1% unemployment goes up, 40,000 people die. Did you know that?
No.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
We were just excited. Just don't fucking dance.
All right.
Where are you going? Whoa, I just got really scared.
I know you guys, a lot of you guys are younger, but do you guys remember 2008 at all?
I heard it just in the news, nothing else.
You what? Just in the news?
But I was 8 years old at the time.
That's crazy. I was in 8th grade. It's kind of weird because my years in school all line up with the year. So like kindergarten, I mean it's 2000. First grade 2001, second grade 2002, 8th grade 2008. 12th grade senior year of high school is 2012. So it's all kind of been lined up that way. But yeah, I was in 8th grade. That 2008 changed my entire life. I mean, we weren't well off or anything like that, but we were like a middle class family at the time. And then my dad lost his job. He was a flight coordinator in Teterboro Airport for private jets. So, he's making anywhere between $80,000 and $90,000 a year. It's not crazy. And then, he got laid off from that, and then all of a sudden had to get a job with GE, doing the same thing up in Newburgh, New York, which is ironically kind of close to where we live now. And we almost moved. We were looking for houses and all that stuff. And I almost had to go to high school up here instead of with all my friends back at home. And not luckily, but right before we ended up getting a house and securing something up there, because he was living up there during the week and then would come home on the weekends. He would be able to stay at the airport and work from there. They gave him a nice like hotel room basically in the airport. And after that, he ended up losing his job with that, and he was pretty stubborn on staying in the same market because he's an immigrant. He came from Cyprus. He wanted to come here to study aviation and all that stuff, and then lost his job with that. But he's always been very smart and handy, so he ended up basically like just looking for a job for 2 years after 2008. Couldn't find anything in private jets because no one's flying private, and ended up having to resort to kind of starting his own like handy business, and then also started managing the local Home Depot in our place, and he still does that. So I basically watched my dad kind of dwindle down. Like he had this whole American dream, stuff like that. Basically 2008 kind of changed his life, the trajectory of our family, and it's I've been able to do some things for him and stuff like that, which is it's nice, but it just kind of sucks watching that happen because could be a lot worse. Could be a lot worse for other families too. I can only imagine in other countries, stuff like that. All right, 9 o'clock just came around the corner. Awesome. 1 hour just closed above that area. Right, which is what we want. Now we need the bottom wick formed. Stock exchange is about to open. They're gonna, wake up to that, or not wake up, but the markets are gonna open up. The stock exchange volume's about to pump into the market from good data. That should pump us up over here. You see the dollar. Dollar's still holding that support on the daily. 4 hour right now is starting to retrace a little bit over here and hold that resistance. Just gonna take a quick picture of the 1 hour here. One hour close. Again, pride yourself on the amount of screenshots you guys take. It only helps you. All right, we got a strong 1 hour close on the on GJ here, but again below that area. So the 30-minute must have rejected. 30-minute rejected. 15 must have faked it out. Yep. Could be getting a deeper pullback to continue up, but we'll see what that is. Now gold is still kind of ranging in here. So right now what I'll do is move that down there. This should be right there. And again, I'm still waiting for a close above this area to capture this zone over here to the upside. See, there's no bottom wick on that candle. Just like there was no top wick on that candle, this thing could just end up rejecting and reversing that way. So just stay patient. Don't get antsy or anything like that. But that was a nice 30-minute close, clearly above that level on US 30. All right, we're starting to move here. This is going here. All right, let's get some discussion. What's everyone looking at?
There's nothing much happening with GJ at the moment.
Mm.
I'm gonna head off because I've got some stuff to do, but I'll see you for backtesting later.
Sounds good, man.
Thanks very much, and I'll see
Absolutely,
you all
brother.
later.
Yes, looking forward to it. See you, brother. Just gonna see.
See you guys.
See you, Dale.
I'm looking to short gold, but I just need to wait
Yeah, just stay
some
patient, man.
rejection because I think it's just moving up before NYC open, to get a better price for the
Yep.
bigger players.
100%. That's exactly what could be happening here. What I was just gonna say. Oh, that's right. You know how there's like certain qualities I tell you guys to pride yourself on. Here we go. We're starting to get the pass of the high over here. Let's see. Whoa. No, I don't want to do that. There's certain qualities that I want you guys to start priding yourself on in the market. One of them, like I just said, was the amount of screenshots you take for your journal. But another one is your patience, right? Like you guys want to be some of the most patient. All good, Lim. You guys want to be some of the most patient traders in the world, right? You want to be professional traders. You want to be patient. Patience pays. It's not always about just jumping into every single trade that you see in the market. It's waiting for your setup, making sure it presents something to you, and taking it. This would be 0. So I'm just waiting on here. We're kind of teetering around for a second. First 5 minutes of the candle. Go back to. Yeah, GJ is just ranging, not touching that. Gold still off a little bit. Here we go. So US 30 here, starting to break the highs. Okay, I'm going to be in. Okay. Stop loss right there. Looking to catch my 1-to-1 here. Let's label this. Anybody else taking this? I think I'm the only US 30 trader here.
I'm taking it with 0.25%.
Okay, nice. I think it's really like waiting for the stock exchange open and then it's gonna take off.
Would you say that it's yeah, that it's taking a trade in Dow Jones before the opening is a good decision?
Yeah, no, that's just gonna add volume. It's not like you're trading before news. It's just you're trading, we're trading our setup, right? That the 930 candle can end up like catapulting us up, but this is safe.
Okay.
Is there a possibility for that happening? Yeah, there's a possibility for anything in the market, but at the same time, you should be good with this setup right here. Impulse entry after 9 a.m. open. After pass of the previous. Yes, Sydney, what's your exit plan for this? 30 minute.
I'm trading it in M15, and if it passes the low of the candle before, I would close it 50%.
Okay. So for me, if this thing starts to flip bearish, right, and starts coming back around this area or maybe even below that area, I'll just cut 50.
So you're
Yeah.
an M30? Yeah.
And I'm
Okay.
also looking for our 1-to-1 here, which is probably, yeah, right around here. So I'm waiting for that.
It's good that you are asking for the exit plan, but because sometimes I'm not thinking about it.
Yeah, should before you even enter, like, all right, this is where I'm going to be closing 50. This is where I'm going to be securing risk, all that stuff. Now that could end up changing a little bit. Unfortunately, like that's mostly based on emotions, but at the same time, when you have intuition with your pair, which honestly I could say I don't have that yet with US 30. I'm starting to get it. It's starting to, build up, but at the same time, I have that for GJ, I have that for gold. I know when price is probably gonna retrace a little bit. Kind of like with my trade yesterday with GJ. Like I knew when to close full because I knew we were probably getting a pullback. So I'm just gonna move this over so I don't have to keep journaling in front of you guys. Just don't have to watch that. Just gonna take a screenshot here. 15-minute. Does this trade make sense to you guys so far? I gotta explain some more stuff, or you guys are good. All right, GJ. So again, we got that bullish close right here, right? Top bottom wick forms starting to break through that area, right? That 9 o'clock volume starting to come in. Not saying trade it yet. Might want to wait for that close above that area, but this is like that pullback into the range where price could very well continue right back up. So after this close right here, positive news, we pull back into that area. I've seen this thing continue right back up. So just keep that in mind. If you're not comfortable taking that yet, I would just lie back test it. Gold, we're starting to push up into that area as well. Again, that was a strong engulfing candle right here with a wick to fill. We filled the wick. Now we're coming into this area. Just be careful. Now we're getting a little retracement right now. The 5-minute ended up pushing up and closing bearish, but again, we're still creating higher lows. Not breaking structure. You're not breaking structure until the 5-minute starts closing below here. Make sense? That's where you start managing risk. But right now, everything is playing into our favor with a clean move to the left. And there's no reason to get Excited. Or the opposite of excited. Keep in mind too, like this is one practice that you guys should always have in your mind when you're entering a trade, right? As soon as you enter that trade or before you enter that trade, whatever risk you put on, you're fully okay with losing that trade. Right? You're fully like if stop loss is hit, like the full thing is hit, which typically most of the time it's not with good risk management. But if your full stop loss is hit, you're okay with that. You're not losing 5%. You're not losing a full 3% or anything like that. And even if you lose 3%, you could get that back. But that's how your thought process should be when entering a trade. Because then if you're not okay with that, then you're gonna start like panicking or emotionally trading, stuff like that. So you got to be fully okay. I'm starting to pull back. See again, check on GJ. We're starting to push up over here. Again, I've seen this setup many times where we do continue up over here. You got 3 minutes left for this 15-minute candle to close, right? If it closes like this, next one creates a bottom wick over here or small bottom wick, passes the high, I could see this thing continuing up. This might actually be more of a green zone now. You guys see what I'm talking about? And this thing should, it's not just going to be a push up and like that's your trade, kind of like what we're looking for on US 30, but it's going to be like this thing is eventually going to just continue up today because of the range to the left. Actually going to take a screenshot of GJ2.
So I'm gonna close half of the Dow Jones.
Okay. Just understand that could be just that pullback before what's it called? Before the stock exchange open. We shall see. 15-minute pullback. But I like your thought process as far as managing risk and understanding what's going on there. If that was your rules, I like it. Lenny, how you doing, buddy?
How about just watching gold?
Okay. Look at this push on GJ, guys. I think GJ will continue up here. Gold, let's see, the 1 hour just closed bullish with a strong rejection wick. This candle filled that wick, but we're coming into that area. Remember what we talked about, rejecting this area over here, 4 hour, right? The 4 hour closed bullish, right? Next one past the high right away. Arguably that could be bad, but at the same time, let's see where we end up over here. Let's see what the stock exchange ends up doing. If this had a bottom wick, I could see an entry potentially after it passed the high of that candle below the 4 hour. Look at that push. Let me just finish with GJ here. Wow, 4 hour looks great on GJ too. Again, remember before we ended up closing above that resistance. This candle closed above as well, closed like a doji. This candle is respecting the low of it and now flipping bullish. Um, 4 hour GJ. Anybody executing on GJ? Or at least see what I'm talking about. Let's go, guys.
Yeah.
We're all professional. We're all on the same level. So let's
Yeah, it just
Mm.
15 close with no top wick. So I would have wanted a longer bottom wick on the next candle to enter on the flip.
Okay.
This is
I
a
mean,
little too small for me.
for that's a great point, Quentin. Just understand like the strength of this candle though, and then you got the bottom wick, and then passing the high of that candle. I do like that for this to continue up on GJ, and I think it will. It's because of the volume. You know, there's like multiple factors to why a pair is moving. Right now the volume is just pushing us, you know, at least into this area, it looks like. Now, Sydney, do you feel like you maybe micromanaged it just a tad? You have the same stop loss, right?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, so this is what I was talking about. We're getting
Yeah.
closer and closer to the stock exchange open. I think if you had the same stop loss, any close below this area, I could see managing risk. There's also a point where like you don't want to get scared of drawdown. There's a difference. There's a difference of like having rules in place for that trade, of like knowing when to exit, when to, you know, manage risk, stuff like that. And there's also like, okay, I don't feel comfortable in drawdown. I don't want to take it. There's plenty of trades that we take that, you know, first end up in drawdown. Every single trade you take actually starts in drawdown. You have a spread, right? So like, just don't be afraid of that. Now you could have been very, you know, right. This could very well reverse and continue down, and that was maybe good management. But I just think we're continuing to close above this area. Now we're getting volume in the market. Now this should continue up, and at least give us the 1-to-1. Reminds me, I'm going to take another shot. Minute. Fucking cord. Dude, this is why I wanted to stay on a little bit later with you guys. So Quinn, do you see this?
Yeah.
All right, so just I would journal this and just keep this in mind for you know, next time you start to see this. This is what I'm talking about, where you know you do get the pullback and the close back into the range right here, and it looks like okay, there could be a fake out, right? But when you start getting a close back above that area with a nice liquidity grab here, closing a strong body, this should continue up. I should have executed this, being that yeah, I was trying to show you guys, but at the same time, I'm already in US 30, so I don't want to scalp two pairs at the same time. But this is a great setup right here. And if you actually go back into my journal, you'll see a couple of these trades. And that's your 1-to-1. Again, the whole idea with trading is just compound effect in so many different areas. Obviously, compounding your account, but also just compounding what you're seeing every single day, multiple times a day. You want to strengthen your eyes. Again, take pride in how strong your eyes are when it comes to seeing setups. And pattern recognition is like a big strength to have as a trader. How do you get that? Just keep looking at setups over and over and over again. Sydney, how you doing over there?
Yeah, good, because I'm only risking 0.25. It's more easy to me for me to manage the trades, and yeah.
Yep, 100%. The and that's how you want to start out on a pair, right? Fuck, what was I just gonna say? I don't know. It'll come to me.
The thing is, when I'm trading with 1% risk, I'm really sweating. Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
I'm just starting with 0.25 first.
Yep. And what I was also going to say was before I was talking about managing your trades and how when you first start out with a pair, you start to micromanage the trade a little bit. But again, like there's lessons that you learn on entries, there's lessons that you learn on exits. And when it comes to managing risk and all that stuff, like you just got to go through it. And this is what I talk about all the time. Like I can teach you guys how to manage risk till I'm blue in the face, but there's things that you guys need to see as traders with your own strategy and the way you guys look at the market with your own money situation, your own job situation, what you're comfortable with losing, stuff like that, that you guys got to figure out what you're comfortable with when it comes to taking action in the market. All right. So like there's some things that you guys just got to go through. And that's one of them, especially with risk management. It's just really understanding where you're comfortable closing, what you're comfortable risking, all that stuff. Ramona, just checking on you. I know you're at work, but want to make sure you're understanding everything. I guess Sammy walked away. Missed out on a few trades. Sammy probably turns his joins the Zoom and then goes on his date. Checks in and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go put my whistle. All right, we're getting a nice push. Gonna be a nice close above that area. I'm only concerned about a pullback here. And do I want to secure a little bit before the 9:30 open? I'm gonna trust my analysis and let this thing go a little bit. And again, if we start to come back below this area over here and pass the low of that candle, yeah, that's what it'll be. If we pass the low of the previous 30-minute candle, I'll close half. Okay, so there goes Quentin. Now he's going on his date. Damn, oil shot up. Look at that. GJ would have had a 1-1, guys. Gold is still rejecting. Now I know how frustrating this is, especially for like Lenny. If you just trade gold, just be patient. Should be able to get a setup at some point.
I feel like this week there's a lot of fake outs too. Like last week it was.
Yeah, last week was a week you really needed to stay patient. Now it's rare that you have 2 weeks like that, right? But typically if you get 2 weeks like that, the next 2 weeks are awesome. If you're obviously managing risk, choosing the right setups, marking down your charts the right way, you're rarely gonna have an entire month of just like shit range. Or just, a lot of fake outs, stuff like that. Yeah, this see US 30, the reason why I'm not worried about it right now is because I see this clean move to the left over here that we should be continuing up and mirroring with all that data that just came out. You see the lower time frames here. See that pullback on the 5-minute? And the 5-minute just closed above. Take a shot of that. We finished the Nick last night. Highly recommend you guys watch that. Damn, look at that rejection on the 5-minute. There you go. Now, what I think this happened on gold the other day, where we were really just like ranging, and then price gave us what we wanted. Yeah, it was right here. So price like was just ranging, and then we finally started to break out with this move, clean move to the left. So can you get something like that below here? That's what you may want to wait for, Lenny. Actually, you definitely want to wait, unless somehow we just close above that area.
What was that? I didn't get that.
What was that?
Well, I didn't hear that what you said.
Right here. You see this range right there?
Mm-hmm.
I think we were ranging. Oh no, that was London. Oh, it was right here. Never mind. This range. Remember, we broke below that support right here, and then we were just kind of bouncing all up and down this area. Then we finally broke out, and then got a move like that. You might be able to grab something like that on this area. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just stay out of this range. Don't try to force anything, and wait for price to start to break out like it did right here with this candle. When you get a strong candle like that closing above resistance, capitalize on that. And then, you know, if that's right here, you get this whole range right here. Make sense?
Yeah.
You know, that saying patience is a virtue. With us, it's patience is your career. US 30. Still looking good so far. We got 2 minutes left for the stock exchange open. And if you guys go back and take a look at what the candle looked like for the stock exchange open, this one was huge, but we didn't have much data yesterday. 9:30, big body. Problem is we did pull back there a little bit. Yeah, 9:30 pulls back. This one ended up shooting up. It's rangy. I think with data we should be continuing up, but we'll see. I'm gonna do my risk here. Again, get yourself ready if let's see. 3-5. If we do manage risk, I got my finger on the trigger. Or if we do pull back like that. Next candle passes the low. Got 30 seconds. All right. So we just closed. Closed bullish. Starting to pull back here. Again, we start breaking below this area too. And we can manage. Okay, did we pass the low of the 30? Come on, shoot up. Where is it? Yeah, it's bouncing off that area. I think if it starts to break its own low, then I'll take a piece off. But it looks good so far. This is what I want to see. One of these guys. Let's go, boy. There we go. Beautiful. I'm back a little bit. What's going on up here? How are the other pairs doing?
I'm waiting on gold.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I left for a bit.
Okay.
My car's not working.
Oh, what
Bloody hell.
happened?
The heater's aren't blowing hot air for some reason. So my dad called someone and he just said take it to a mechanic. So I went to the mechanic
Okay.
and he's saying the head gasket's gone or something.
That's the worst. Car problems suck.
I know, honestly, so bad.
I thought you went on a date.
A date with my car, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a love-hate relationship, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I feel that. That was my first car. My Jeep. Did me a lot of good. And then started crapping out towards the end. I had one of those gray Jeep Cherokees. You guys probably don't know what those are, but
I think Jamie drives a Jeep, does he?
Jamie, does he? No, I think Jamie
so.
drives a truck.
Yeah.
But then again, he rented a truck up here when we met up.
I like well, if gold closes bullish on the 15 to retest a high.
Let's see. I was
Well,
just pointing that out too. Look at this. Maybe getting a fake out here. I like this rejection wick and the fact that this candle might close, might get filled at some point. I'm not saying to enter in here, but yeah, look at that rejection wick right there. But then again, this candle rejected as well. So just stay patient right now. Ooh, I like how the 4 hours rejecting this area again. Completing that fake out. Yeah, look at that. So this might be something what we were talking about over here to capitalize on this move. This could be something like that. Your stop loss up here as it passed the low of the previous candle. You could lie back test that, Lenny, and then maybe wait for that close below that area. That might be good for you. Well, US 30's teetering around over here. It's just messing around. Starting to reject that resistance right there. Again, I like this, and this is just like the 1 minute, so don't pay too much attention to this, but the fact that we came down and tapped into that area right there with that liquidity wick. I like that. Like, I want to see price holding this support on the 1 minute. And if we start breaking below over here, then you could start like managing your risk. But I think we should still be good. Even though we're holding this resistance, I think with the volume and the positive data, we should push through that, but we don't know yet. Wait for candles to close. I'm actually going to take a screenshot of this. And that's price action. Same thing with the monthly, same thing with the daily. The 30-minute, it's all the same. See how we're holding like a higher low still, but still holding that resistance. If we break above this area and close above that area on the 1 minute, should be continuing up.
I got in on gold as we broke the low.
Okay.
It's a low risk anyway, like 0.2%.
Good.
So this one I'm testing out.
It gave you the break and retest here on the 1 minute. right?
Yeah.
Not that
Yeah.
you're paying too much attention to that, but it's also, you're capitalizing based on this candle. This is what I was telling you. After that close, top wick form, pass below the previous candle. It's very risky selling into that area. This will be safer, but I could see this playing out and continuing down.
That's why I risk like 0.2%. It's like basically nothing. You know what I mean? Like if it hits my stop loss, it's not gonna affect me whatsoever. It's not gonna stop me from taking another trade. If you get what I mean?
Yep. The dollar over here is holding a resistance, but we'll see if we're also holding some kind of a support, like we're ranging in here on the 1 hour. All right, so if we could bounce up that way, that should be good for you. The US 30 is just like, so that 1 minute over there ended up closing above. Now we're maybe getting that deeper pullback into this area and then continuing up. We'll see. I think scene still looks good.
Obviously, my initial plan is just to wait for a close.
Good.
15 minutes, because that's when I'll use my full like 1.5%.
Okay.
What would you say? What would you say to that?
I like that. I think it's smart because you're trading inside that range. So now we're starting to come back below this area. That's what I was talking about. Can we hold this as support again? And if we don't, and we start to close below this area, then I can manage risk. Let's see how this 1 minute closes. Do you guys get what I'm doing here? Because we did kind of create a new high up here, right? And we've rejected this area multiple times, so I don't want to micromanage. Now this 1 minute is passing the high of that candle. Can we hold a solid support? You got 30 seconds for that to close. Again, the confidence comes from the data and the price action now. Sydney, do you get this? Especially because you're in this right now too.
No, I was 2 minutes away.
Okay. What I was saying was like this is kind of how I'm using the lower time frames here. And this is price action, goes across all time frames. But yeah, that support that was holding. We got this liquidity grab over here, which gives me confidence we should continue up. Even though we keep rejecting this area, I was waiting for price to close below this support right here to manage risk. Make sense?
Yeah.
And
Makes
we never broke below that wick. We never closed below that candle. We got a strong bullish candle bouncing off that same exact demand area. And now I'm still in this. I didn't have to manage risk or anything. But right now we're starting to really push up here. See the 5 minute? Looks good. Wow, look at that. Yeah, push. That's what I wanted. A rocket. I think for me, what I'm gonna do is take a piece off here. Yeah. I just closed half. Right there.
I also did that.
50%. Nice. That's how many points was that? 50 points. Perfect. 50 of 50. Now I'm going to move my stop loss below this current 15-minute wick. Okay. Not at break even just yet. And if we go, if we pull back to what's it called? The entry, I'm gonna probably close another 50, or I am gonna close another 50. All right, does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Awesome. You guys have any questions on that?
No, all good.
Nope.
Okay. To be honest with you, I think if we do pull back to my break even here, I might just close the full thing. But let's see what we do. 15 close.
I already did that. I closed the full thing because I have
Okay.
to go for now.
Okay.
Yeah. See this evening?
1 o'clock, yeah. Well, evening for you. Absolutely.
Yeah, evening. It's the 7 p.m. at my place.
Yes, sir. Sergey, so home sales news is in 23 minutes. Yep. So that, I mean, if we get some positive on that as well, that might shoot us up too. New home sales, yeah. Good point. All right. So yeah, we had a good session here. We started at 7:30 over here. So that being said, I'm gonna hop off. Great job today, guys. Let's go back to GJ for a second. Yeah, GJ gave us a nice high. So Quinn, you journal that?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. That's a move for you. You could start journaling. Yeah, 30-minute. It's still kind of bouncing around this area. You got to be careful with this area, right? But I do think we can continue down through that move. All right. So guys, great session. I'll see you guys at 1 o'clock. Get yourselves ready, and we'll have a nice session there too.
Yeah.
All right, boys. What's up, Quentin?
No, I won't be able to join. I'll be at the opera.
Oh shit! What are you going to see? Phantom of the Opera?
Yeah, family.
Is that what you're actually going to see?
No.
Okay.
I'm going with family, and we're going to see something that's not so how do you say that? Known.
Popular?
I didn't know. Yeah, not so popular. But
Okay.
I didn't know the piece, but it's gonna be good. It's gonna be beautiful. I mean, I've never been in that opera, and it looks so great.
Awesome.
So yeah.
I just closed the full thing right here. Well, enjoy, man.
Thank
Obviously, it'll be recorded. So have a great time, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Yep.
All right, guys. See you guys at
Have a
1.
good day.